I have felt lost lately in what I want to do with my life. I am 23, have secured a degree, and earned some certifications for various skills such as barista and lifeguard. I worked a handful of random jobs growing up, then spent 2 years in an office related to my degree, but I felt cooped up and hated it. I did some traveling for a while, and now I feel lost about where to start with a career. I genuinely feel stuck. How did things work out for you during your 20s? How did you discover your career, and are you happy with it? Story 1. I am 29 years old. One more year to go, but overall it has been very disappointing. I did nothing but play video games, work, save money, and study with the occasional hangout or trip. There is nothing of value to be salvaged or redeemed. Entering my 30s, I am not sure what to do, questioning everything and struggling with obesity. I did not do any drugs or drink alcohol, so I suppose that is positive. I am an accountant. Story 2. A career is not something you are locked into. The only real option is to work different jobs until you figure out what you like, what you cannot stand, and what you have to accept. Story 3. Quietly worked a boring job. Did not really date anyone, just kind of floated through it, spending time with friends and not doing anything of interest. Story 4. I'm 30. My 20s were pretty all over the place, in all honesty. I lived a lot of life, from age 20 to 22, college and graduating, completely and utterly lost, no attachment to anyone or anything. I literally got my job about 2 weeks before going broke and having to move back to my rural hometown. From 22 to 23, I enjoyed my job, was quite good at it, and had a natural affinity for it. I was never the studious type, but always had the gift of the gab and was good at understanding how things worked. From 24 to 26, I moved to New York and fell in love for the first time with a coworker in our 7-person office who was a year older and loved partying as much as I did. It ended about as well as you could imagine. COVID happened during that time. From 26 to 28, another relationship, a younger woman. I knew it would end badly because she was a year out of college, but I did it anyway. It ended badly and put me in a funk for a while. Meanwhile, I was absolutely crushing it at work and made about $350,000 between work and GameStop in 1 year. I blew or lost it all. I took a job at a startup, was laid off after 3 months, went back to an old firm, became a borderline alcoholic, and the market was awful. It was the worst stint of my career. I was laid off again. I ran up significant credit card debt. From 28 to 30, I got a new job where I still am today. The weekend before I started, I met my now fiancé at a friend's party. I got my mojo back. I'm crushing it at work, barely drink or party anymore, and had our son 4 months ago. Debt-free. Life is pretty sweet. Every time a breakup happened, I thought my life was over and I'd never love again. Obviously, that wasn't the case. Getting laid off twice nearly broke me, but I kept my head up and soldiered on. Your 20s are there to take risks and do dumb things, figure out what works for you and what doesn't. Your career, the type of partner you want, the type of friends you want, and so on. It's supposed to be a bit lonely and unstable because you're still finding your way and where you fit in the world. Just learn to trust yourself, love yourself, and enjoy the ride. It's basically impossible to predict where it will end up. Story 5. Although I earned a top degree at the university, it was mostly miserable and repetitive due to mental health issues. Story 6. I set up for my next half marathon, got a Bachelor of Science degree, started working, and bought a house. I saved a lot of money. I have traveled and continue to travel every year with my partner. I turned 30 a few months ago. It is good that you have some certifications. Do not worry so much about what you want to do. Often, when you get there, you realize it is not something you want to do long-term anyway. Find what is in demand, pays well, offers a manageable work-life balance, and provides good benefits. Do not live to work. Get into whatever you find that you think you can do decently. Then save money if possible. Managing spending and income is a crucial skill, and financial literacy can make or break you at times. Do what you want to do in your free time. Make enough to enjoy life. When people ask me about my dream job, I tell them I do not dream of labor. Story 7. A roller coaster. I got my high school sweetheart pregnant, so I married her and joined the military. I went through a nasty divorce and relocated to a state I had never lived in to be near my children. Then I met the love of my life here and lived happily ever after. It just now occurred to me that I got married twice in my 20s. I did not realize it was such a short time frame, relatively speaking. Story 8. I am 25 years old and working in commercial banking. It is a good career for many, with decent pay and a decent work-life balance. I have been doing it for 3 years after graduation. I do not love it. It is repetitive and mundane at times. I feel like I have no purpose and I am just a number at my very large company. I have not been very happy recently, and I feel that a lot of this stems from my job. If I could go back, I would not put so much emphasis on money. I would find an industry that truly excites me, one that will see growth in the next 20 years. Renewable and sustainable energy, for example, will have lots of growth. To me, it sounds interesting and you are doing something good for the environment. Story 9. My 20s were rock and roll. Fresh out of mandatory military service, I was penniless, backpacking across my country and half of Europe. I found love 5 kilometers from where I grew up, and we are still together after 26 years. I never got a degree. She earned a doctorate. Turns out she is good at studying, and I am good at making her happy. We have 2 children, own our house and 2 cars, all fully paid. Almost 50 now. I am earning my agronomic engineering degree for fun. Story 10. I am 29 years old. I work in a large soda industry. Pays decently, but the work is terrible. Whoever says we are made for physical work and that it is better than office work is completely mistaken. I feel like I have wasted my life and future. Good luck to everyone. I am happy for those who succeed. Story 11. Partied a lot in the first half, got my life together, and started dating an amazing woman in the middle. Got my degree, a good career, bought a house, and then got married at 29. Sprinkle in some mental health issues, experimental drug use, and a couple of close run-ins with police early on. Too long. Didn't read, eventful and worked out pretty well. Story 12, actually good. Traveled and turned 20 down under. Spent time with a nice girl. Came home, met another nice girl, and moved in together. She left overseas for work. Broke my heart. Sowed my oats. Gained some life experience. Worked a fun job. Started school. Met a cool woman at that job. Married her. Had 2 wonderful daughters before I turned 30. So yeah, pretty good. My career path is all over the place. Ups and downs. Each job highlighted something I liked and did not. In subsequent jobs, I aimed for less of the things I did not like. Story 13. I grew up so much in my 20s. I'm in my 30s now, and everything in my 20s happened for a reason. I love my 30s. Life is so good. Do what you are passionate about. I'm back in school. Yes, you heard that right. I went back to school at 33. I decided to change my career path because I wasn't happy with my situation. So far, so good. I might only be at a community college, but that's perfectly fine with me. Story 14. I am 31 years old and currently unemployed. I lost my job because my boss was abusive in retail work. In my 20s and throughout my life, I have had hardly any friends and have not been many places. I lived in a toxic environment and felt trapped. Life has not been great. You are doing well, brother. Story 15. I'm 25 and work in construction. I have done it all my life. I'm open and hopeful that one day I'll make a career change and have a different perspective. However, the last 3 years have led me to conclude that you have to work a job you love is not always true. As long as you can tolerate the work and it allows you to afford the things you want to do, then it is good enough. Find happiness in your spare time by doing activities you enjoy, and I find that it makes up for the difficult 5 or 6 days of work. Story 16. My 20s were solid. I started working at a factory at 19 and worked my way up through the ranks. I began pursuing a degree in mechatronics and industrial automation. The job did not work out. I was laid off at 29. However, I will finish my degree next month, and it is fortunately very applicable and relevant in this industry. I somewhat fell into my degree and career path, but sometimes that is how it goes. Story 17, turning 27 in a few weeks. I am only now making enough money to comfortably do all the things I should have been doing in my early 20s. I wasted years working unfulfilling jobs or staying inside my apartment with the blackout curtains drawn, straining my eyes with the internet. Story 18, it was fine. I worked right out of college, saved money, lived by myself for a year, bought a house, and kept saving. Ideally, your degree should be based on what you studied. What are you struggling with? Find a job in the industry and start working. Story 19. I went to a vocational school and learned a trade. After high school, I worked in that trade for a few years before moving into industrial maintenance. I don't mind the work, but can't say I love it either. I bought my house when I was 23. Up to that point, my life was focused on saving for a down payment and then actually buying the house. After that, my life revolved around working on the house and picking up every side job I could to make money. I got into various hobbies to pass the time, many of which involved more work, like running a hobby farm with cattle and chickens. I started my retirement plan in my 20s and did some planning for retirement. Now I'm 34. My feet and knees hurt daily with occasional lower back pain. I only have 4 more years left to pay off my house. After that, I plan to update the house and maybe do some traveling. My 20s involved a lot of work. There were days I only got 3 to 4 hours of sleep because I spent so much time working. Around age 26, I had to reduce side jobs because they were affecting my main job. When I turned 30, I stopped actively looking for more work. Now, I only help friends and family outside of my main job. I value my time more. I don't charge more hourly, but money doesn't tempt me to sell my time. I'd rather enjoy it with my own hobbies. I didn't really choose a career. I just did things that were somewhat interesting and kept doing them, playing it safe and strategizing life. I've only had 4 W-2 jobs in my life and have been employed since I was 17. I'm playing the long game, always have been. My theory is that I hate being forced to go to work. I have a choice between going to work and the bank taking my house. I don't mind working. I don't want to be 65 and still doing this kind of work. My plan involved figuring out how to finish as soon as possible. That meant buying a house earlier than most of my friends and figuring out how to pay it off. I debated with relatives who suggested taking a 30-year mortgage and investing the difference. I ran the numbers and it didn't make sense to me. I decided to pay it off as soon as I can because once it's paid off, nobody can take it from me. Remember, it's not always about what you make. It's about keeping as much as you can of what you make. The most I made on paper in a year was $52,000, which is low in today's job market. I don't care because I'll still finish owning my home before all my friends and family who make more money. I buy old and used vehicles and equipment. If a deal comes up on something I need or can use, I buy it. I use it for a certain amount of time, then sell it when I'm done. I get annoyed if I don't make money on it. This applies to trucks, not daily drivers, tractors, guns, all-terrain vehicles, and so on. People lose a large portion of their earnings on too new equipment. Another expense is subscriptions like TV and internet. I have internet now, but I went 8 years using only my phone's hotspot at home. In winter, my thermostat is set between 58 and 62 degrees. I just dress warmer. In summer, it's set between 78 and 80 degrees. This saves a lot on utilities. A little discomfort now makes a lot of comfort later possible. I have always prided myself on not missing out. That is, still being able to do everything everyone else can, but spending the least to do it. I don't miss out by being cheap. I just go about it differently and don't have as nice things. Some things I do if it makes financial sense. Story 20. Well, 26 right now, and it has been horrible to be honest. The worst depression of my life, horrible relationships, and honestly, I have given up on the idea of having a family or relationship at this point. I genuinely used to be social and liked people. I just do not enjoy people in general anymore after all the difficulties I have experienced. Everyone annoys me. On the plus side, I got my degree and certifications and am making progress in my career. So yes, I have a good retirement fund to look forward to. Story 21. Came here to help you, but instead I ended up asking myself the same question. I think it is beneficial that you have skills beyond your degree. I do not know what advice I can give you because I am also in my 20s, but I am sure you will figure it out soon. Try to find a new skill to work with and socialize with people who have a stable life and inspire you. Take baby steps and build confidence. Story 22. My 20s were spent in a drunken stupor or an opiate-induced stupor. Basically, my 20s are a blur. I finally got sober in my 30s, got certified to teach, and started my dream career. I absolutely love teaching, but it is not something I would have chosen in my early 20s. I had to grow as a person before it became possible. Story 23. I am 29 years old. I started lifting weights back in college, but have been focusing more on my diet overall and am happy for the most part with my body. Job-wise, it is where I am lacking, though it is not the worst. I wish I had more drive and was better at school and learning so I could be making more, but it is sustainable and I am sure I will make more in the future. Story 24. My 20s ended at the beginning of this year. Career-wise, I took the standard route. Studied engineering in school, transitioned into software development after graduating, and steadily built my career ever since. I went through a couple of long periods where I was out of work due to quitting my first job after hating it for 3 years and mass layoffs at my second job. During those times, I did some soul-searching and traveled as well. Ultimately, with some luck, I was able to bounce back and find new opportunities each time. Building your career is important during your 20s, especially if you eventually want to build a steady stream of income to do what you want. I was fortunate enough to pick and stick to a career path I was interested in, and that makes good money, but that does not happen for everyone. When I was 23, I had only started my career as an intern, and so much has happened since then, both in and out of work. You mentioned working a variety of jobs. Those are all experiences that helped shape who you are now. Take pride in them. The office job is not glamorous. Sitting at a desk staring at a computer all day is definitely not interesting all the time, but sometimes you have to convince yourself to endure it for the money, knowing that things will get better eventually. While career is important and can provide you with a sense of fulfillment, it is also a means to an end. To accumulate the financial capital, you need to enjoy the other parts of your life, which are just as important. These could be your hobbies, dating, spending time with friends and family, and traveling. Overall, just doing the things you really want to do right now. Because when we retire someday, hopefully, and don't need to worry about career anymore, we will need other things in life to keep us entertained. Hopefully, we will have done other things by that point rather than focusing solely on career. It is great that you are thinking about these things now, and it's all right to feel lost. From personal experience, this will not be the first or last time it happens. For me, I am very happy that I spent time building relationships with people during my 20s. Meeting new people at events, reconnecting with old friends, and learning to treasure the ones that matter and keep them close. I have been through 3 long-term relationships in my 20s, learning more about myself with each one. Do not be afraid to step out of your comfort zone to try new things and live a little. It all adds up in the end. Sometimes, having a fulfilling life outside your career will help you figure out what you want to do for your career as well. You might meet people in your position who will push you, or people in roles you aspire to who will inspire you. You may find opportunities you never realized existed before. You are at the prime age to explore and figure out the life you want ahead of you, but also to just enjoy life. At this point, I cannot say that I have figured everything out, but I do have a better idea of where I am and the person I want to be. My 20s, if anything, helped me develop that awareness. But I sure had a blast during that time, and I am happy that I left it all on the table. Story 25. I made the mistake of getting married at 19 or 20 to the first woman to take me seriously. I was pretty insecure. I would have done better to stay single, date, and explore relationships because by the time I was 28, I found myself divorced, traumatized, and lost. Story 26. At 27, not doing really well. I went into an apprenticeship for information technology and was completely burnt out over those 3 years. Lots of 16-hour days. I have been working somewhere else now for close to 4 years. I like the work, but not the circumstances. Understaffing is a real issue when sales creates completely unrealistic service level agreements, catering excessively to customers at every opportunity. and leaves the rest of us to clean up. I guess I have done way too much work and not nearly enough living in the past 7 years. I have essentially lost all of my friends and came out the other side with more time for work, I suppose. Some days I think going on a bender and disappearing for a couple of months would be a better idea than continuing to tread water. I am tired, boss. Story 27. Best years of my life. I lived a wild, freewheeling existence as a highly paid and profoundly irresponsible advertising agency copywriter. I was also just beginning to sink into the hellish depths of addiction with consequences that would completely destroy my 30s. But you only live once. Story 28. Yes, I tried different jobs until I found one I liked. Took me until I was 27. My best advice is to keep trying different things because you really don't know what you like or what you are good at until you try it. There is no timetable for that. However, one thing I wish I had known is not to waste your time if you know you don't like something and it's not right for you. The worst thing you can do is waste time because you won't get it back. Story 29. I am a 26-year-old engineer. Honestly, the only happy part of my career is the pay. I can use the money to do things I actually enjoy. Story 30. Ages 16 to 24 were rough for me. I experienced severe depression and loneliness. Then, at 24, I met my now wife, and my life changed for the better in every conceivable way. The COVID-19 pandemic happened, and I was made redundant for the second time, which was awful. However, it ended up being for the best since I was able to leave a poor career and retrain into a much better one. Story 31. I worked overnight shifts for much of my 20s. Unfortunately, there are gaps in my memory due to chronic sleep deprivation. Story 32. I am 24 years old. I am an engineer and a part-time musician. I cannot tell if I am being successful, if I am just doing normal, or if I am doing poorly. I dislike my job, but I love my music, so that is good. Story 33. I am almost 28, and it has been good. College was mostly lots of stress and confusion. I decided to study computer science because I was tired and did not know what else I wanted to do. At the time, it seemed to guarantee me a job. I still work in technology. My job pays well and has a good work-life balance, which is nice. I have a nice apartment and have saved a lot of money, so that is good too. I have dated and experimented a lot, which I am happy about because it helped me understand who I am, and I mostly avoided relationship drama. But I feel like I have gotten that out of my system now, and I would love something more serious. I have not yet gotten the hang of the whole friend group thing. I tend to people please and come off as inauthentic. I hope to fix that because there are many things I would like to do that are more fun with friends, such as traveling, concerts, and just hanging out. I would like to do more with art and photography and have a proper gym body transformation. In general, I feel like I want to have more fun stories to tell and more unique experiences like everyone else, I guess. Story 34. Struggled really hard with drugs and identity from age 20 to 25. Been working hard from age 25 to 27 and carving out a sustainable niche to afford going to school and building a future. Having much more fun hanging out with friends from age 25 to 27 than doing drugs from age 20 to 25. Story 35. 20 to 21 years old. College, homesick, lonely but not alone. Wanted to commit suicide. 22 to 23 years old. Suffering while job searching. Got my first job, worked hard, paid off my student loans, traveled. Became proud of how far I had come. 24 to 26 years old. COVID-19 pandemic. A complete blur. Has it already been half a decade? Got a new job. 25 to 28 years old. Multiple heartbreaks, breakups, funerals, rejections. Had to move to a different town for work. Feeling trapped. Searching for a job, but seems like I have to wait for the software job market to recover before moving back to my hometown, New York City. Lonely. Dreaming of better days. Picked up hobbies to keep myself going. It feels like I am watching from indoors as my friends make progress with their lives and I am here. I choose to believe in better days. Story 36. As a 25-year-old with a decent job, reading these replies makes me feel scared of my future. I feel like I am in a self-fulfilling prophecy where I will have a boring life, but I will be financially stable at least. Story 37. Honestly, pretty great. I am 29 now, and I lucked out with a really high-paying job with minimal work hours and great flexibility. I got to move to my dream city, and I have had a few relationships and great friends. Cannot complain at all. Story 38. Pretty much my golden era, at least so far. I am 25. I started poorly. No serious job, no friends, losing my hair, only had 2 relationships a few years before, and my mental health was at its lowest. Now, fast forward 5 years. I am becoming well-traveled, confident, have a lot more experience with women, great friends, and I have fun almost every weekend. Story 39. In my 20s, I found my career, fell in love, bought a house, was cheated on, lost the house, changed careers, moved cities, found great friends, and experienced a significant period of growth. In my 30s, I changed careers again, changed cities, and making new friends because people move or drift apart. I fell in love, fell out of love, and am now rebuilding things. I do not think I am content or happy. I am just existing between moments of happiness. Mostly, I keep busy to distract myself. Story 40. I was kind of pushed into a career in architecture. I ended up in the high-stress work environment of 1990s Hong Kong and realized it was not a career I wanted. But by that time I was committed. So I decided to just have fun. I used my earnings to travel and party. I am now 55, married, still work part-time in the industry, but we now own a restaurant where we are quite involved. Story 41. It's funny when I tell people about my 20s, mathematics, computer programming, education, management, nonprofit administration, music, and the list of things I studied goes on and on. I had no clue what I was doing until I found people and places that just clicked with me. I think the best paths are laid with the help of people who inspire us. That first spark of inspiration may not even dictate where we end up in the long run. I don't make much money or have much power or influence, but I am happy and have lived, and am living, an amazing life. Find that spark, that fire, that drive that you know makes you happy. Many people out there will share their passions with you as well. Story 42. In my early to mid-20s, my hobbies included gaming, going to the gym, and part-time work in various kitchens. From my mid to late 20s, I had a full-time job, but my superiors exploited me and assigned me the worst shifts. This caused my health to deteriorate, and I began to hate my job and the restaurant business as a whole. Story 43. My 20s were by far my least favorite decade. Finishing college, entering the workforce, being single, having no focus or purpose. A lot of wasted time when I could have been doing more of the things I eventually found in my 30s. Story 44. Back in my 20s, I was either out clubbing with friends almost every night or gaming at home with them. It might have been a pretty aimless lifestyle, but I do not regret it at all. I had a blast. Story 45. I loved my 20s. I earned a culinary arts degree early, then worked in many nice restaurants during the 2000s while bartending in high-volume bars on weekends. It was a rockstar lifestyle that paid well, allowed me to travel extensively, and taught me about different cultures. By my late 20s, I moved into management and oversaw a group of venues and strip clubs for about 10 years, which was also enjoyable. Once COVID-19 hit, I settled down and moved into information technology, which suits my lifestyle and pace now. I am just barely 40 years old and have changed careers 3 to 4 times already. Each change gave me new skills and experience that made the next step easier. All that said, don't feel pressured to have everything figured out right now. Take on jobs or training that interest you and complement your current skill set. If you know you lack something, such as soft skills or technical skills, aim to get a job that will help you further develop those areas. I should note that during those 20 years of working, I went back to school for various subjects like psychology, philosophy, fine arts, and computer science. I did not pursue additional degrees. It was to explore those topics. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.